Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. How Yellowstone's Dutton family came from Sons of Anarchy explained. Taylor Sheridan's neo-Western drama Yellowstone helped to revitalize the Western genre in television, but it has its roots in another neo-Western that isn't always recognized as such, Sons of Anarchy. Starring Kevin Costner and a talented ensemble cast, Yellowstone became a runaway success thanks to its potent mix of drama, action, and an intoxicating Western setting. While the cowboys' rural setting and gunfights certainly conjure classic Western vibes, the political maneuvering and corporate espionage ring of more modern dramatic fare, which is part of why Yellowstone's audience demographics are so varied and diverse. While Yellowstone has its own trademark aesthetic and lingo, creator Taylor Sheridan does draw on some of the best TV dramas of the last 30 years, which is a credit to him as a showrunner. The parallels between Yellowstone and FX's crime drama Sons of Anarchy, for example, are plentiful. The similarities are so abundant that Yellowstone has been referred to as Sons of Anarchy on horses in certain circles of the internet. Taylor Sheridan is one of TV's most talented and unique dramatic writers, to be sure, and the influence of Sons of Anarchy on Yellowstone is clear. Years before he put pen to paper on Yellowstone, Taylor Sheridan was a working TV actor who had a number of smaller roles to his name before Sons of Anarchy debuted in 2008. The award-winning family drama was set against the backdrop of an oftentimes violent motorcycle club's struggle to accumulate power, wealth, freedom, and revenge, although not necessarily in that order. Taylor Sheridan portrayed Deputy Sheriff David Hale for the first 3 seasons of the show, the straight-edge enforcer of the law and frenemy of the Sons of Anarchy motorcycle club. Sheridan's time in the main cast came to an end when his character was unceremoniously killed in a drive-by, which was reportedly forced as a result of a salary dispute, which saw Sheridan leave the show, although SOA's creator Kurt Sutter has said Hale was killed because Sheridan wanted to pursue another project. While it was never directly addressed by Sheridan, many Yellowstone fans acknowledge that the Season 3 episode, Going Back to Cali, which sees John Dutton and the Yellowstone Cowboys tangle with a biker gang from California, was a reference to Sheridan's bitter exit from Sons of Anarchy. In addition to the biker call-out in Yellowstone, there are a few other notable crossovers between the two shows. For example, Sheridan has used a few cast members from Sons of Anarchy in the ever-expanding cast of the growing Yellowstone universe. One of the most prominent is Korianka Kilcher, the New World, who starred in Yellowstone as the vengeful litigator and business consultant Angela Blue Thunder more than a decade after playing Chib's daughter, Carrie-Ann Telford, in Season 3 of Sons of Anarchy. Screen legend Robert Patrick, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, makes appearances in both Sons of Anarchy and the Yellowstone spin-off 1923. He plays the president of the Sons of Anarchy San Bernardino chapter, Leigh Packer, and in 1923 Patrick portrays Sheriff William McDowell. LaMonica Garrett also features in both universes. He somewhat ironically plays David Hale's replacement, Deputy Sheriff Kane, in Sons of Anarchy, while he played Pinkerton Agent Thomas in Yellowstone's spin-off 1883. To most, Sons of Anarchy is considered a crime drama, more in line with gangster movies in television than a Western. However, in exploring the themes of the show, many of the hallmarks of a Western emerge. The members of SANCRO are considered outlaws, a concept born straight out of Old West, and their rebellion against or subversion of the law is a consistent element of the group's activities. Their brand of justice often falls outside the law, and certainly fits the definition of the frontier justice of the West, where vengeance was often carried out on a personal level. Most importantly, Sons of Anarchy is framed around the themes of individualism and personal freedom, with the club working to impede the march of progress and change in their hometown. Therein lies its greatest tie to Yellowstone, and why both shows can and should be considered neo-westerns with a genuine overlap in genre. John Dutton and his family work to keep the ranch pristine and preserve their way of life, just as the Sons of Anarchy do. Whether Taylor Sheridan distinctly intended it to or not, Yellowstone is a spiritual successor to Sons of Anarchy, in theme if not setting. The Dutton family from Yellowstone and the biker outlaws of Sons of Anarchy exist in distinct narrative worlds, yet both share core themes of loyalty, power, and a willingness to do whatever it takes to protect their own. While the Duttons rule their sprawling Montana ranch with a mix of grit and ruthless strategy, the Sons of Anarchy Motorcycle Club rides the thin line between loyalty and lawlessness. By delving into the parallels and thematic overlaps between these two iconic shows, we can construct an intriguing theory. What if the Dutton family evolved from the same raw, rebellious roots as SANCRO, Sons of Anarchy Motorcycle Club Redwood Original? Let's explore how this hypothetical lineage could be explained. The outlaw spirit, a shared core. At the heart of both families lies an outlaw spirit. The Sons operate outside the law, running guns and protecting their turf, while the Duttons' defiance often comes in the form of bending or breaking legal boundaries to safeguard their land. Both families value loyalty above all else and are unafraid to get their hands dirty, a connection that suggests the Duttons' ethos might have been shaped by a generational outlaw mentality. Imagine a scenario where the Dutton patriarchs, perhaps a grandfather or great-grandfather of John Dutton, was a SANCRO member who sought a different path for his descendants. The constant battles with law enforcement and rival gangs in California might have spurred a pivotal decision: leave the chaos of club life behind and forge a new identity far from charming, the Sons' home base. This hypothetical Dutton ancestor could have taken his knowledge of leadership, territorial defense, and manipulation of power structures and transplanted it to the open plains of Montana. From bikes to ranches, a shift in power. While the Sons of Anarchy dominate the road, the Duttons command the land. This transition from the adrenaline-fueled biker world to the slower, methodical realm of ranching represents more than just a geographical shift. It's a transformation of power. Both environments demand similar skills: the ability to strategize, negotiate with allies and enemies, and when necessary, eliminate threats. For instance, consider John Dutton's tactical mind. His ability to anticipate moves by land developers, political adversaries, and even his own family mirrors the chess-like strategies employed by Jax Teller, the central figure in Sons of Anarchy. If John's forebears were once part of SAMCRO, it's plausible they passed down this keen sense of survival, honed in the brutal world of biker politics. The motorcycle club's hierarchy, with its president, vice president, and enforcers, parallels the Dutton family's chain of command, where each member has a role to play in defending the ranch. The role of generational trauma. Both Yellowstone and Sons of Anarchy explore the toll that violence and loyalty take on families. If the Duttons emerged from SAMCRO's lineage, it would explain the pervasive sense of generational trauma in their story. The Sons' world is rife with betrayal, loss, and cycles of revenge, themes that echo in the Duttons' relentless fight to maintain control over their land. Take Beth Dutton, for example. Her sharp intellect and unyielding ruthlessness could be interpreted as traits inherited from ancestors who navigated the treacherous world of outlaw bikers. The scars she bears, both physical and emotional, resonate with the type of trauma experienced by SAMCRO members like Gemma Teller-Morrow, Jax's mother. Similarly, Case Dutton's internal struggle between loyalty to his family and his desire for peace mirrors Jax's journey to reconcile his violent upbringing with his dreams of a better life. The transition to legitimacy. One of the most intriguing aspects of this theory is how the Dutton family might have transitioned from outright outlaw activities to a veneer of legitimacy. The Sons often engaged in criminal enterprises to sustain their brotherhood, but what if a breakaway faction decided to go straight? Relocating to Montana and establishing a ranch, a business deeply tied to the land and steeped in tradition, could have been a calculated move to build a legacy freed from the shadow of SAMCRO's criminal past. This shift would not have been without its challenges. Early Dutton ranchers might have faced opposition from local authorities, rival landowners, or even remnants of their former biker affiliations. These conflicts would have required the same blend of cunning, strength, and ruthlessness that SANCRO employed, laying the groundwork for the Duttons' reputation as fierce defenders of their land.